Hi team, recording in my other studio today. I'm Laura, I'm a community artist in Minnesota. Today is Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. And I say that date on video because it's a hard time in Minnesota. And the way that I am trying to help is by bringing you art and some history and some autism content. And I'm really trying to connect with other people like me who are in the community and who have wisdom to share, but have a very hard time sharing it. Uh, Not for everything, but those people are the ones who I really hope if you're here, you'll put your hand on your chest and rock a little bit for me, like we're hugging. Anyway, today I want to talk about one of my favorite community art projects, which are tokens. And when I say token about this, I mean it in a somewhat historical sense, such as a token of affection or a token of gratitude, meaning something small that is an object that connects two people together. It's like a compliment, except physical. For me, it's much easier to give a token than a compliment. It's much easier for me to hand someone something like a little button with some Mod Podge on it. Here's an example of a token. Here's another example of a token. This is two sort of flimsy old poker chips glued together and then with paper Mod Podged on it. Tokens can be anything. Usually they are coin shaped and small pocket sized coin shaped. And they say something nice on one side. Some of mine say, "Thanks for being a safe person," or "You're enough, you matter, you're loved," which is a phrase from one of my favorite artists and friend of mine um, that I'm going to get tattooed on me eventually. Anyway, tokens can be almost anything, but on one side they say something nice, and on the other side they say, "Pass it on." So the hope is that this object stays in a pocket for a while, um, maybe goes through the laundry. That's okay. I try to make them waterproof. I use waterproof Mod Podge for these ones, but I would prefer not to have to use Mod Podge. But my handwriting, as you know, is terrible, so I've got to type. Um, yeah, I hope that it gets lost, kinda. I hope it goes into a dish or a jar or in between the couch cushions. Or maybe that it stays in a really important place in your wallet or your purse because it's a compliment that you really need reminders of and you need to see that. And every time you see it, you have a little frisson of, oh my God, yes, okay, I am loved. If that's what happens when you see it, it's still yours. You need to keep it. But at some point, you'll either lose it or you'll pass it on intentionally. If you lose it, guess what? It's going to find a good place to go anyway, because someone someday is going to get it, is going to find it. It's going to be cleaning up that dish or is going to be cleaning out that couch. And that's going to be an accidental little joy that that person finds. I dream of someday doing this with some of the good fortune cookie little papers, just making them more durable by putting them on a token so that I can hand them out to people. Um, yeah, this is a way that I spread joy in my community, is by having a dish of these at the door and trying to give them to people when they leave my house or when I think of it, or sometimes when people have come over and I've really had a good connection with them, but I still don't feel like I've communicated my appreciation or whatever to them enough, then I might call out to them as they walk away from me. I might call out, "Hey, grab a token on your way out." And they might not know what that means, but when they get to the door and they see this little dish of them, I hope that they take one. So that is a piece of community art. My call to action in this video is to go make one. Find something in your house that's small and round and fairly durable, and write a nice note on one side, and on the other side, write, pass it on. Write it in Sharpie or something that's going to last as long as it can. Large buttons work great. I haven't been able to find more at the thrift store. One side should say pass it on. The other side should say a compliment, and usually I try to make it something sort of deep and heartfelt that is maybe more serious than I would normally feel comfortable saying with my voice face to face. This one says, "You are a valued friend." I don't know how easy it would be for me to like grab somebody's hand and say, "You're a valued friend," especially after just meeting them. But if that's how I feel, I want to tell them. I'll give them a token. Anyway, that's tokens. Um, Let me know in the comments if you make one or if you've gotten one from me or if you do something like this. This feels very autistic to me. It's like pebbling, which is giving people tiny little objects that make you think of them. So I feel like tokens are sort of a version of that pebbling. Um, I also like them because they are accessible to communicate for me. And that's so hard. Um, that's all for tokens, but stay if you want to hear about this art behind me because I am going to talk about it since this is the first video that it's in. This piece here I did just, several years ago actually when I was pretty early in acrylics. So I do want to go back and make it a little bit up to my current standards, I'll say. Um, but I love it. And it's an interesting piece for me because it has many layers underneath it. And the last layer was this sort of moody red with some of this, yellow orange in it. And it looked slightly sunsetty to me. And I was watching Bob Ross and trying to figure out how he does mountains. And so I was practicing Bob Ross mountains with a palette knife, and they were nice enough that I kept going. This one over here is not mine. This is a watercolorist named Reed Larson, and I love that Reed signed it so that there's some context in the object. It also says the date, which is 89. Um, I really love dates on objects as well, especially art pieces, because showing the style of art as it goes, and knowing that future art historians looking back, whether you're a famous artist or not, if your piece lasts into the future, some historian in the future somewhere is going to want to know what year that was made and who made it. It's important. Behind my head here is a weaving that was done for me by a very close friend. Up there, houses are made of brick and stone. Homes are made of love alone. Um, I'll call that a piece of community art because when I bought it, thrifted, it was in a really hideous, like gold gilt frame. Um, which number one isn't my vibe, and if it's yours, that's fine. But number two really isn't the vibe of the piece. It's embroidery, cross stitch. Anyway, so someone made that, worked really hard on it. It's beautiful. The back is very messy, which I love because if you are a cross stitcher or an embroiderer, you know that how messy the back is a whole conversation. Anyway, one more thing, which is the fabric covering the daybed back behind me, which is a baby carrier. In fact, it is a woven wrap, which is a type of baby carrier that's essentially just a long piece of very nice fabric, woven fabric, that's strong enough to hold a child and beautiful enough for a woman to, or not a woman, for a adult to love wearing. That's the hope. Sometimes they're just utilitarian. That's great too. You know, if you're going for the hiking vibe, that's what you want. But if you want to go somewhere classy with your baby carrier, a woven wrap feels a little nicer. Anyway, this one, as you can see, I'll go over here, is inspired by Van Gogh, Starry Night. Um, and it's by Natty Baby, which is one of my favorite companies as far as making wraps that look beautiful. However, I didn't tend to use them that much. Not really sure why. Anyway, I believe this wrap was a gift from my mother while I was baby wearing. And while I used it several times while baby wearing and took some beautiful pictures and whatnot, I never got it broken in enough to really love it. And which is why I'm really thrilled that I kept it, because now I have this upholstered door stuck to my wall as the back cushion part of my daybed in my art studio. And that's what I've used to cover it. I didn't attach it or anything. I just laid it on there and kind of tucked it in, and I love it. So, I don't know. I guess a piece of encouragement, if you have something really cool that you wish you knew what to do with, stop trying to make it classy. Just enjoy it. If you want it to be classy, it'll be easier to make it classy when it's in your face all the time. And you'll get to enjoy it while you're waiting to class it up, right? You can always put it away if somebody's coming over and it feels too messy for you. But in the meantime, that piece of art, that little bit of joy, that little bit of creativity, at least is in your life. Anyway, that is what I have to say about tokens and the art behind me. If you're here, I hope that you're a safe person. And if you're a safe person, love you. Bye.